Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph, and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. Most silver stackers think of junk silver and fractional silver as basically the same thing. They're both small pieces of silver, they're both divisible, they both seem practical, but they are not the same. And more importantly, they prepare you for two completely different kinds of futures. One prepares you for a localized, trust-based exchange, and the other prepares you for a structured market liquidity. And if you don't understand the difference, you might be stacking for a reality that you never put yourself into. Congratulations to Maestro Metals for being the first to comment on my video yesterday. Find him down below in the comments to start a conversation. And Maestro, thank you for helping me with pronouncing your name. Before we compare junk silver to fractional silver, we need to define them clearly. When people say junk silver, they are referring to pre-1965 United States circulating coins that contain 90% silver. These were real coins used in everyday commerce, and that include pieces like the Roosevelt dime, the Mercury dime, Washington quarters, the Franklin half dollar, the Walking Liberty half dollar, and the JFK half dollar. These coins circulated in pockets and cash registers for decades. They bought groceries, gasoline, payphone calls. In 1965, the United States removed silver from dimes and quarters because the melt value began to exceed their face value, which is just the value imprinted on the coin. Silver was quietly pulled from daily commerce, but the older coins never disappeared. They remained legal tender, and more importantly, they retained their intrinsic silver content. Over time, collectors and stackers began calling them junk silver, not because they were worthless, but because most examples carry very little to no numismatic premium. Others prefer the term constitutional silver because they were issued under constitutional authority and represent a time when the U.S. coinage contained real precious metals. Technically, junk silver refers to anything that's not 3 nines or 4 nines fine, and the term constitutional could mean any United States denominated coin that contains silver or gold. Yes, even the 40%, the war nickels, and the American Silver Eagle could fall under this title. But most people use the term to describe American 90% silver that adds up to 25 grams per dollar. That's the standard that was set in 1873, and typically stackers will choose to bulk stack dates between 1916 and 1964. However, some do also stack the Barber series, which goes back to 1892. Now let's compare that to fractional silver bullion. Fractional bullion refers to newly minted 3 nines fine silver pieces that weigh less than 1 troy ounce. These might be half-ounce rounds, quarter-ounce rounds, 1/10 ounce rounds, even small gram bars, but unlike junk silver, these pieces were not part of a historical circulation. They were created specifically for investment and stacking. Even government-issued bullion rounds like the American Silver Eagle, while 1 full ounce, represent a bullion category rather than circulating constitutional money. Fractional bullion is metal first. It exists because investors want divisible exposure to silver, not because society once used it as currency. That difference in origin changes everything. Junk silver was born inside a monetary system. Fractional bullion was born inside an investment system. One carries a psychological memory of money, and the other carries precision of modern bullion markets. Now let's talk about the environment in which you would use these, because the environment determines which has the advantage. Imagine a localized economic disruption. Not the end of the world, just a little bit of stress. Maybe the banking system freezes temporarily, maybe electronic payments go down for a few days, maybe trust in the currency weakens for a season. In that kind of environment, trust becomes more important than precision. If you hand the average person a 1964 quarter, they will likely recognize it. They may not know its exact silver weight, but they know that it's old. They may have heard that silver was removed after 1964. They're familiar with the American imagery on the coin. The coin itself looks worn, authentic, and recognition reduces the hesitation. It reduces friction. And in an informal exchange, friction is everything. Now imagine handing the same person a tiny 1/10 ounce 3 nines fine silver round in the same scenario. It's modern, it's shiny, it's small. Unless the person understands bullion weights and purity markings, doubt starts to creep in. Is it real? Is it plated? What is a 10th ounce even actually worth? This doubt will slow down the transaction. In a localized barter, speed and familiarity matter more than just melt precision. The 90% silver often carries the advantage here because it was once money, and it still feels like money. There's also something subtle to say about wear. A lightly circulated coin looks more authentic because it has the history embedded in its surfaces. Some scratches and smoothing will increase the trust psychologically. The circulation will remind them that this is just regular money, but a perfectly polished modern round can sometimes feel less trustworthy in a low information environment. Markets are not purely logical, they are psychological. And now flip the environment. This is what most of us are used to now. Walking into a coin shop during a relatively stable market, or selling to a knowledgeable stacker, or shipping it to a national dealer. In this world, precision matters more than the nostalgia. A fractional 3 nines fine round has clearly stamped weight and purity, and the math is straightforward. Weight multiplied by spot price, adjusted for buyback percentage, clean numbers, clean accounting. With 90% silver, the dealer must convert face value into silver weight, account for wear, evaluate damage, and apply a spread that can fluctuate dramatically during periods of panic or refining capability. Junk silver premiums can surge during buying frenzies, but they can also contract. The spread between buy and sell may widen significantly when a retail market cools. Fractional bullion often tracks a lot closer to the melt value in stable conditions, which means faster break-even and smoother resale. And this reveals an important framework. Junk silver reduces the psychological friction, while fractional bullion reduces the financial friction. Psychological friction asks, do I recognize this? Do I trust this? And financial friction asks, what is the spread? How close to spot can I liquidate this? These are two completely different problems, and they require completely different tools. Counterfeiting adds another layer. Small bullion pieces can be easier to fake visually than the heavily worn constitutional coins, especially for inexperienced eyes. Constitutional coins have a known dimension, well-documented mint characteristics, and decades of wear patterns that are difficult to replicate convincingly. That said, in professional environments, modern testing equipment levels the playing field. Sigma machines and XRF analyzers do not care whether the coin is nostalgic or new. They care about conductivity and composition. Again, environment determines the advantage. So the real question is not which one is better. The real question is which scenario are you preparing for? Are you preparing for a neighbor-to-neighbor exchange in a period of currency distrust? Junk silver may shine in that environment because familiarity and psychological ease. Are you preparing for the structured dealer markets, online resale, or precision accounting? Because fractional bullion may provide a smoother liquidity and tighter spread. But perhaps the wisest answer is not either or, but both. A thoughtful stack might include constitutional silver for trust-based flexibility and fractional bullion for structured liquidity. Full 1-ounce pieces may serve long-term wealth conservation, while smaller units may serve optionality. Different layers for different scenarios. Not because collapse is certain and not because panic is inevitable, but because optionality is powerful. Silver stacking does not have to be dramatic. It does not require predicting a catastrophe. It simply is about preparing for multiple possible outcomes. Junk silver carries the memory of money and the psychological trust. Fractional bullion carries the precision of modern markets and an efficiency in resale. They're not interchangeable, even though they're both silver. But in the end of the day, a wise stacker doesn't argue over which is superior in absolute terms. He asks a better question. In what environment does each one perform best? And then prepare accordingly. That's not fear-based stacking, that's just strategic stacking. I just made my own line of coffee. Joseph's Reserves It's Today Again coffee. Most mornings aren't dramatic. They're quiet. You wake up, pour yourself a cup, and now you have a choice. Drift through the day or take hold of what's in front of you. That's really what this whole thing's about. Showing up, building good habits, staying disciplined in the small things. Whether that's stacking consistently, learning something new, or just being faithful with what you've been given. I put these words on every bag to remind myself first. Every morning is a gift. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. So take a breath, take a sip, and let's get to work. It's today again. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back. If you like this video, make sure to go down and give it a thumbs up. Go down to the comment section for any comments or questions. Share the video to anyone you think may like it. And subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up. So no matter how small, just keep stacking.